Alrighty guys, I thought I'd make a quick video because here we go, got hurricane season again. Now if you remember, last year it was a pretty rough year, man. Bunch of abnormally strong hurricanes, caused a lot of damage, right? Florida, most of Florida got tore apart. Puerto Rico, I mean, I don't think they've still fully recovered yet. Right? And Houston got hit really hard, about 150 miles from here. And this could happen, you know, it could be the same this year, maybe better, maybe worse, you never know. It's like flipping a coin, but why take chances? Right? And this is something you've got to do yourself. Right? This would be for, say, you know, of course, hurricane, blizzard, you know, floods, power outages, you know. You can tweak it depending on what you're preparing for, but the same basics, you know, I think would cover you for quite a bit. And you've got to do this yourself. You can't put your family's life and, you know, into the hands of strangers. Remember Hurricane Katrina, the Superdome, all these people stuck in there, right? Takes these guys 5 days, takes Uncle Sam 5 days. FEMA got there with water. But the human body can only make it 3 days without water. So, you know, they had to find, I guess they had to purify water, or maybe they just lived off whatever, you know, sharing soda out of the machines or something. I don't know. But if they would have just waited, they'd have died, right? Human body can only make it 3 days without water. It took those guys, took FEMA 5 days to get there with fresh water. So don't put your hands in your family's life in the hands of somebody else. Right. You got to do it yourself. Now, here, got a couple items I think, you know, you should just have around. Like I said, good for blizzard, flood, hurricane, you know, blackouts, something like that. Your short-term SHTF, I guess. I mean, it's not really, but, you know, just natural calamities, you know, just natural man-made calamities that are short-term. I remember last year, I told my coworkers, they don't know what I do, but I told them, look, man, you guys better get some bottled water on your way home today. And, you know, they look at me, I'm like, well, there could be a boil advisory. I'm like, well, you just boil the water, right? I'm like, well, yeah, but, I mean, you got to think about that for a second, man. I'm like, if there's a boil advisory, that means that, you know, sewage got into the water supply. And you got to boil the water for a hard boil to kill everything so you can drink it, right? So it's no different than going to the toilet, taking out the water out of the bowl, boiling it, letting it cool, and then giving it to your wife and family. I remember my buddy just looks at me like, oh, yeah, you're right, you know. I'm like, yeah, man, it's 99% clean water, 1% sewage, man, you know. So, yeah, it's good to have bottled water around, right? I always have bottled water, and everybody knows what that's like. So I'm not going to bother pulling everything out to make this short video. But I thought I'd just start with some of this stuff. I'm working on something for my sister-in-law, a little short-term emergency kit. And, you know, I figured, well, what the hell? While I'm doing this, I'll make this video. So, clean water. Have bottled water aside, you know. If you're going to store up on water, I recommend getting like the bottles of water, like they come in cases. Like if you get those 2-gallon containers, they wind up getting heavy and falling over. But the buckets, I mean the big old plastic, you know, large packages, they're meant to be stacked on pallets, right? Pallet on top of pallet. They're meant to hold the weight. So, you know, do something like that maybe, right? That's what I would do myself. Just in the closet, keep it up, or, you know, somewhere, and rotate it every now and then. You know, no biggie. We have a couple cases on hand, and we just rotate it. Go to the park, okay, we'll get another one and rotate it out. Another thing would be, because water is super important, would be water filters. Now, I've shown in my other videos, you know, Sawyer water filters. I love those things. One filter up to 100,000 gallons, right? And they're 20-something bucks on Amazon. I'm going to leave links to things in the description bar. You can just have it, you know, brought to your door. If you find a better price, you message me and I'll swap the link, right? I want people to get as much of this supplies as cheap as possible. That way you can do things with other preps, right? Another thing, I have a do-it-yourself water filter kit. This isn't mine. This is for my sister-in-law. And it's a ceramic gravity filter and a little kit you get on Amazon. Pretty cheap. I think it was like 30, 35 bucks, something like that. 27 to 30 bucks, something like that. I don't know, maybe even 35 with shipping and all. But yeah, I have the buckets already pre-drilled and I have them outside, right? They're in a big, large plastic bag sealed up, and it's got that and instructions inside. So, if I'm not around my wife, she knows how to do it, but I put instructions. Just, hey, why not? I'll leave links to that and the Sawyer water filter. Another thing I think would be a good idea, which I keep my bug out bag. I didn't want to dig it out for this. But the 9-in-1 crank flashlight, no batteries on that thing. It's got a no radio. It's got a AM, FM radio on there. Light, some small cutters, a glass breaker, stuff like that. You can also recharge. You can recharge like your cell phones and stuff. It's got adapters in there. I'll leave a link in the description bar. That's good to have on hand. Just, phones. I mean, hell, you may not be able to watch anything or get any service, but hey, it'd be good just in case you can. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. But if you don't have any power, you sure can't. So I'll leave a link to that. Another thing, I've got here, I'm not really crazy about batteries. I try not to get batteries, but I got shake flashlight, right? You just shake it for a bit. And there you go, right? Never need batteries. You just shake the damn thing for a couple minutes, and that's it. Right? That's something that I recommend. They're about 8 to 10 bucks on Amazon. Why emergency food? Right? There's a 52 serving container I always recommend. Not that expensive. You're looking at like 55, 60 bucks, right? And that'll take care of you for a while. I mean, 52 servings, most things will blow over by then. Like if it's a blizzard or, flood or natural, something like that, hurricane or, even blackouts. They're not going to last that long. I think it'd be okay for just your typical short term. Another thing I like are the 100-gallon bathtub bladders, right? Now, I've got one in the closet. I didn't want to dig that damn thing out. If I needed to, yeah, I would. If I thought I needed, but that's, if I thought there was something long-term coming, I'd fill that sucker up. That, you can only use it once. I mean, people say you can clean it out with bleach, and I would just get another one, man. Why risk it for 30 bucks? But, you can get that sucker and just keep it aside. If you ever really like, okay, this is most likely going to knock out the water, well, you would have your bottled water you can go to. You can load that sucker up too, and that'll last you. Use it sparingly and you'll be okay. Another thing, little butane stove, man. This guy, I haven't used this one. Go to the sister-in-law's. But yeah, just something quick. You're not supposed to you're not supposed to use it indoors. I have, just to test it out and see how things would work. And, I don't do long-term cooking, but just something quick, Open the windows. I'm kind of funny about smells getting out, That's why I personally like, instead of cooking something outdoors, yeah, it's a good idea to have charcoal and a barbecue pit, just on hand, you're American, okay, yeah, you like to have it. But in an SHTF, if things really, really got bad, I don't know if I want to be outside cooking and letting the smells get out there, when people are hungry. So I prefer something like this where I could boil water. Nobody's really going to smell that, or just think you're going to drink some water. And then you just take it and you got your emergency food. You pour the hot water, you let it sit, you close the windows, and there you go. You're eating a hot meal, and nobody really knows what's going on. Of course, you can need some supplements. I've made videos on that you can check into, because you can't survive on that forever. But, that's the way I see it. And I just say, simplicity, man. It's indoors. Do it real quick. If it's not that bad, take it outside, warm something up, do the water, mix it up, bring it in, if you want to. I've done it indoors. I'm not recommending it. I'm just saying I've done that myself. I like these guys too. It's a crank wind up LED lamp. No batteries. I've shown these in other videos before. Right. Again, I'm not sure if you want to be the only one with power, but in a short-term thing, yeah. You know, you can hang them around, you know. And, yeah, you got a little hook. So I've shown these in other videos before, but no batteries. I like them. You know, good for camping or just anything else. I've got this little radio flashlight, and you're supposed to be able to charge things as well. I've never actually tested it on this one. I've used it just once, you know, checked out the features, and yeah, a little AM/FM radio LED flashlight, and yeah, just a wind-up thing. I just thought, you know, okay, nice to have around in that kind of situation. I've got this guy here, which is the Midland. I think it's the 822, if I remember correctly, and that's the 785. And just in an emergency, man. I mean, you know, it's good to, in case the phones aren't working. You can use a Bofang, but you know, this is just in an emergency. It's not illegal to use, you know, to broadcast all over any channel. You can do whatever you need to in an emergency. But I figure, hey, what the heck? In a situation like this, just use a CB, right? Bofang, if it's really, you know, something else, you know, you don't use it for a blackout or just a small storm. That, I'm not sure. You may be in trouble with that, maybe not. I don't know. I'm not sure if a, you know, heavy rain and tornado warning would qualify if the signal is really bad, or some people would do something like that. And something else I have, this is just something I keep around. My Midland CB. I'll leave a link to this in the description bar. Also, I've got these guys here, these solar chargers, right? And just leave them in the sun. It takes a while, but it will charge them up, right? I got this Cobra antenna. Works better than the original that came with it. And yeah, you can get some distance on that. I'll get on there and test it out, me and my brother, every now and then. And yeah, just some, you know, in case the phones aren't working, good to have around. Maybe not necessarily for, you know, hurricane type deal, but just something good to have around. I would say, you know, they're not that expensive, especially, I believe the 822, if I remember that's what it was. You know, 30-something bucks, you know, and I get this Cobra antenna. What I actually do, I'm always trying to recycle funds back into something. So like the original antennas, I'm not a fan of. I wind up just putting them on eBay and selling them off. You know, other people take them. I'll make back what I do for the Cobra antenna. You know, so I can recoup a little bit of cost. But I recommend doing stuff like that, keeping some batteries around. You know, even if not for you, you know, neighbors may need them in a short-term thing. Hey, what the heck, you know. Make some friends or something. And then, of course, I got this, well, I'm not going to pull it out here, but it's just a radio, another radio, AM, FM, and NOAA emergency radio. Crank that sucker up. It's got a little light on the side, and it's supposed to be able to charge up things, too. I think I tried it way back. It's been just up in a box. I haven't messed with it. I probably need to do that after the video. But I just thought I'd go over some of the items, you know, while I'm doing this for my sister-in-law, show you guys some of the stuff that I'd recommend for just, you know, having around just in case. With the exception of the CB radio, which, yeah, you know, it's good to have, I think, in general, just keep it around. But the rest of it, short-term, you know, whether it's a power outage, hurricane, blizzard, you know, communication be important, and your phone may not work. So that gives you another option. Bofang, I mean, like I said, it's got to be an emergency type situation. And, yeah, I'm not sure, you know. Unless I really thought my life was on the line, I wouldn't risk it, you know. I wouldn't want the fees and legal trouble and all that crap if it's really not an emergency. And I know people, they'll just do it, so that's why I really don't recommend it. I just recommend having those things aside. Know how to use them, but, you know, have certain channels written down, and that's it. But anyway, that's a couple items I recommend going over. You know, of course, canned goods. I have a can opener in that thing, some matches, some lighters, stuff like that. You know, some bar soap just in case, you know, you run out or something. Just to keep around, right? Instant rice, stuff like that. And if not, hey, the Wise 30, the 52 emergency food package, that'll hold you for a while if you just want to be lazy about it. Buy something, throw it aside, and not worry about it. But anyway, all right, that's it for me, guys. Thanks for watching. Y'all have a good one. Links are in the description bar. If I find a better price or you find a better price, message me, and I'll swap it out. Y'all have a good one. I'm out.